I feel like they weren't created by black women. Like those are ideas. As far as the Jezebel,
they over-sexualize black women and the black body, right? So if you got that African ass, then they're on you, right? They talk about your chest. They talk about, you know, just the way in which you are built, like just our structure as Africana women, right?
We're so sexualized because that dehumanizes us and that takes away our humanity. And so if we are sexual and only sexual beings portrayed in movies and media and conversations, then they don't need to humanize us. We don't need to be important. We don't need to matter. And so I think that they are completely reinforced because of that things. It's supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to have this humanity. And
I think black women are naturally liberated, and that sometimes gets interpreted as whorish or whatever, but at the end of the day, I believe we're all human, and I think that society has reinforced these to the point that black women sometimes ourselves even take on those roles, even when they're actually lies. You get what I'm saying? So I think that if we really truly dig deep inside ourselves and do soul searching, like, we will find the truth, and then that we can disregard and discard the lies that society has imposed on black women. I feel like Mammy in particular isn't one that's so bad. I feel like that's something that as black women, it is enforced, but we've reclaimed it as just caregivers. Like, that's what we do. Like,
black women are nurturing. Black women are mothers. Black women are, you know, teachers, and they, you know, look at history. It shows itself. It's like, we were raising y'all kids. We was feeding y'all kids. We was washing and teaching y'all how to clothe yourself and things like that. So I don't necessarily think that, you know, that should be looked at in a negative way. I think that's just what it is.
You oftentimes see TV shows where there's a big, I shouldn't say big fat woman, but a bigger woman who's always like seen as less than. So she's in the house cooking, she's in the house cleaning, and she's doing these chores for her family. She's doing those chores and she's making sure that everybody else is good, and she leaves out herself.
The Mamie is something that I grapple with the most because the trauma that I have dealt with, I am more mature and I'm more wise, and they say all of these things, and I know that they mean for them to be compliments, but in reality I'm being put into this category, this asexual category, where with the Mamie you can't really be sexual. You can't be this multifaceted person. You cook, you clean, you say yes sir, yes ma'am, and you cater to everyone's needs. And so in my life, I have experienced that. And so that one's a little touchy because black women are nurturing. You know what I mean? We are, we do want to help. We do, you know, not all of us, but we do. So, I mean, that's difficult. But to say that we only are those things is the difficult part and the bad part, because that doesn't give us the room and space to be all that we are.
For Sapphire, that has to be probably like the most just irritating stereotype, because
yes, we are angry because of course, like, our background, our history, but it's also because of like the opportunities that we didn't have.
I think we're passionate, but it's misinterpreted as anger.
Everybody has anger, and that stereotype is kind of unfair to me because anger is a natural feeling. It is a natural thing that everyone at one point in their life possesses.
Just a personal experience that I had. I'm currently a resident assistant here at Illinois State Housing, and I did a Black History Month bulletin board, and it was like the only bulletin board that has ever been like tore down like completely. And I went and I talked to my supervisor about it, and she told me, like, I'll address the issue. I don't want you to address it because I don't want you to come off as the angry black woman. But I was angry in that situation, and I couldn't like show my emotions because she was worried about how I would come off to people who made me angry, who tore down my bulletin board. And it kind of just made me like reflect on like who I am as a black woman. Like, I can't show my feelings because you're afraid of how my true feelings will affect other people.
To live in a society and know and have knowledge, right? Like, I think that that's what black women are.
they're always anxious and always aware of what's going on around them. And so like that translates into being pissed off because they know what they contribute and they know how much they receive back. And so obviously you would be angry if you gave 100% and you only got 2% back. Like anybody who's sensible would be angry about that.
Even some of the reality TV shows that we see, right? So those, all of these stereotypes are recreated, right? And so my thing is too about the black woman or the angry black woman is that why is it that she's angry, but we don't look at all these other people who are angry, right? So we associate her race with her anger instead of saying this is a human characteristic. I've never seen an angry black woman go and shoot dozens of people, but black women are always thrown underneath the bus, right? But here are these white men who are angry as fuck going around doing this shit to, you know, so many people who have done nothing wrong to them. And so they are not called angry, they are called sick. They are said that they have a mental illness. They are, you know, pitied in a sense, but black women are not pitied, and all we do is get angry for being treated as less than human, right? So I think that is just such a big stereotype, and I think that these stereotypes are so embedded into like our culture, into our media, into our everywhere, like our books and stuff like that, right? And so I think that this definitely needs to be changed, because black women are not, you know, we're not the stereotypes that people try to place upon us. So I think that these should definitely be, you know, fought.
It's not that we're angry. It's not that we are always mad or loud. It's that we have struggled that probably not a lot of people that are not black women or black in general can relate to. In my opinion, black women are, not just because I'm a black woman, are the strongest creatures on earth because we've been through the most. And we've gotten the shortest end of every stick, and we've gotten the worst part of every deal, and we've gotten the last people to get rights and the last people to be acknowledged in almost every case possible. So I think that it's not that we're angry or that we're upset, it's that we know what we're due and we're waiting for our just due.
I think that if black women are angry, we have every right to be. I mean, I am angry, and I'm not angry because I'm black. I'm angry because I'm not an idiot. And I'm angry because I know what it means to be a black woman. I know how people see me. Like, even if I am, right, does that make me less deserving of respect? Even if I am angry, are my words not valid? Are my experiences not valid?
So if we are angry, are we only allowed to be that one thing? And so I think that's the problem with stereotypes, is because it only allows you to be one thing. We don't have the room or the space to be anything else, and so it becomes very hard and difficult to change that narrative because that's all they want to see. So in the media, on these shows, and that's why I'm so against like reality TV, is because it only shows you black women when they are arguing and fighting with other black women or other women in general. But it doesn't show you when we, you know, heal each other. It doesn't show when we love and we laugh.
I am pissed off all the time, and I am a black woman, but it's not, the two are not mutually exclusive. You know, like I am not one because I am the other. And it's as simple as that. Like, and even I'm more than that too, right? So I am always pissed off, but I'm still brilliant. You feel me? I'm still raw. Like, I'm multiple things.
All of those are one story or one version of black women, and it does not allow black women to be multifaceted. It does not allow us to have multiple emotions or multiple characteristics. And
I think that everyone has things that are negative when it comes to like viewing them, but I don't think that all black women are represented by those three stereotypes at all, and I don't think they're true at all. I know some black women that embody a bunch of different characteristics, and doesn't necessarily make them fall into the category of a Jezebel or a Sapphire or a Mammy. It's just kind of like they are who they are, but it's not like they are these negative things.
That's the hard part about breaking those stereotypes, is because the system sets it up for us to be that way. I truly believe that once black women are free, everyone will be free, because there will be no more caste or oppressive systems oppressing.
Black women have so many different burdens or struggles that not a lot of people can identify with. And I think that just being a black woman in itself is a struggle. I think that all black women can relate and say that they have felt at some point in their life that they've had to pull themselves up.
I feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulder.
Not a lot of women can carry what black women carry.
It's a constant battle every day that you're either constantly fighting within yourself, you're constantly fighting with another black woman, another black man, and then you go out into the world and you have to prove yourself and prove I deserve this spot, I earned this spot to be here, to be educated.
I know a lot of black women who deal with anxiety and depression and a lot of mental health issues, but we are not able to talk about it. And I think that's it's cultural, but it stems from a larger system. So you are not allowed to have an opinion, you are not allowed to express yourselves, and if you are told that often enough, then you start to believe it. And so black women feel like we don't have the space to say what is on our minds, because if we do, then we're the angry black woman. And if something is wrong, or if we don't agree with something, or if someone is doing us wrong and we have something to say about it, we can say it in the calmest of tones, and then but we're automatically angry, we're automatically villainized, and so then you shy off, and then you don't have to say anything, and so it's just like, I'm okay, I'm fine, and you are sort of forced into this resilient nature, and I don't think that that's healthy.
Black women, I think, is the strongest group of people generally on earth, and I think just that alone makes us the #1 target to be defamed and to be dethroned. So it's so much, we're just seen as just, we're bitter and we're lazy and we we have low self-esteem, and this just gets carried on from generation to generation. And I think that unfortunately our men aren't necessarily our #1 supporters, because yet we are out fighting, Black Lives Matter, and we're out protesting, and we know that the #1 killer of black men is prostate cancer. I'm not sure if they can say what's our #1 killer, and we don't have anybody fighting for us. We're kind of at the bottom of the barrel.
We have to deal with racism, we have to deal with sexism and how they intersect, and also like just racism and sexism intersectioning, but also you have to deal with like sexual orientation, classism, working. Sometimes it's like you have to be twice as bad. You got to be better because you black, and you got to be better because you're a woman. So it's like, damn, I got to be 4 times as bad. I got to work 4 times or 2 times or 3 times or however many spheres of oppression you feel like. I have to work that many times harder.
I think that if I were not a black woman, I would not be depressed. Especially a black woman in this environment. So I mean this ISU, the classes that I take, just people asking me stupid stuff all the time. I'm an education major, and so I'm in my final year, and so I teach. And so this lady, she asked me if one of the kids in my classroom was my child. And so those constant things, piss you off, and they lead to you being depressed. But I don't think that if I were not in this black body, it's not something I regret, by the way, but if I were not in this black body, I wouldn't have to deal with that. I'm sure she has never fixed her lips to ask anybody else in that school, if they have a child in the class, and it's what would make you think that I have a kid in this class, when I teach here like everyone else.
Going to a PWI and, being in classes when it's only 2-3 black people, and you're just wow, on this big college campus, it's only 3 of us in here. Kind of makes me feel left out. You surrounded by whiteness, I'm in a white space. I'm at a predominantly white institution, and we watch videos. I'm a social work major, so we watch videos of, low income families and inner cities, and videos specifically about the south side of Chicago. I see the looks on my classmates' faces, and they looking red, and they take, when we have class discussion, they're like, oh, I just feel so bad for those people and the situation they're in. And I'm sitting there this is my neighborhood. The gun violence, the drugs, the poverty, the failing schools, that was something I was a product of. But don't feel bad for us, because I'm sitting right here at Illinois State University, right next to you, and I didn't have the same resources they might have had. So that just speaks to our resiliency. Yeah, we get the short end of the stick, but we make it work with that short stick, we make it work just as twice as better, you know?
You see all of your, you see people not wanting black women or disregarding black women, but then when white women or Latinas or Asian women, they can wear multiple color wigs and they're not ratchet, they can have multiple color hair, they're okay, it's cool, it's trendy, it's hot. They can wear hoop earrings, nobody thinks they're ghetto, they can wear acrylic nails, but when you think about who made that hot and who made that poppin', it was black women. And so of course that takes a toll on you because everyone's always like, oh, black women trashy, black women this. But then you see your culture, being appreciated and applauded and sold for billions of dollars, but not on you. And so how would you feel? There's no other option but to constantly be depressed. I think that everyone I know is depressed at a point where it's normal. To be depressed in the black community as a black woman, you have to be I'm about to kill myself. Because everybody's walking around with some form of depression. It's normal. We just keep laughing, keep joying. You can't even tell because we just gonna keep dancing, keep doing us, all of that.
We deal with so many different things and we don't get the space to be those things because who are you to be? And I think that's detrimental to us. But I think that slowly but surely we are getting our voice back, and we are, especially amongst each other, able to sort through these things that have traumatized us. If you ever ask me what I am and who I am, I think that's going to be the first thing that comes out of my mouth always and forever is black woman, because I truly have learned everything that I am from other black women. Black women save my life every day. And so I take a lot of pride in being a black woman. I take a lot of pride in knowing and surrounding myself with other black women. And that is because I think there's power in being around people who just can understand you, and you don't always have to explain what it feels like to be in such a marginalized place.
This may be, a shock, but I didn't really fully notice I was a black woman until I came to a PWI. Because it's certain things that, you may not have to necessarily own when you're around other black women. It's just kind of given, but once you are in a room full of white people who may not understand what a black woman is and what that entails, now you have to own everything. Now I have to speak not only my truths, but somebody else's truths.
Being a black woman has shaped everything about me. I surround myself with black women, and it just made me who I am today. People that I flock to are black women, people that I learn from are black women, the experiences that I feel like I share the most with are black women experiences, if that makes sense. So it just shaped my experience by the fact that I flock to black women, and then I feel like I can relate to black women more. And it's a very unique experience, and you can't really relate with everybody. So I find comfort in being around black women that are like me and are different than me, because at the end of the day, we are black women and we do have very similar experiences. So
being a black woman has helped me to realize that I am far more blessed than anybody else. I remember having a conversation with my cousin one day, and she was saying that black women can do things that nobody else can. And it's down to the simplest factors of our hair defies gravity. My hair can stand up on its own, and nobody else in the world's hair can do that, So I feel like we are one of a kind, we are unique, we are strong, we are just great human beings that are counted out at times. So I think that's just what keeps me going, to prove to people that, we are a force to be reckoned with, whether you agree with us or not, or whether you like what we do or like what we say or agree with how we do things. We're stronger than what they think we are.
As women, it's hard just being a woman. And whether you're white, Asian, Hispanic, that's just hard, period. And anybody will tell you that. But to add black to the equation makes that 3 times harder. So we're naturally fighters. We're naturally going to fight our way. We're going to naturally, and we're always going to be like that.
it's like we got so many things up against us, but we still make it happen.
So I just like now them as a black woman, I just like it's nothing that I can't do.
I'm a proud black woman by any means. I'm confident. I'm thrilled to be a black woman. Like, I'm not ashamed at all.
I like to like look at other black women before me, and you know, whether it's Nina Simone or whether it's Diana Ross, just poised women from, you know, previous years, even Michelle Obama from today, or Kerry Washington or Viola Davis, just women that has owned their truths, you know, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, has owned it and has given back to the world something beautiful.
Being a black woman is everything that I am. I have no regrets. I would choose this every time. I think that for me, like, black women are God. Like, literally, every time my life is saved, every time a miracle happens, every time a blessing happens, it's from a black woman. Occasionally black men, but more often than not, it's from black women. Like, when I need a pick-me-up, it's black women. When I need anything, my mama, you know, is a black woman, and she was my sole provider. She loved me the best that she could, given what she had, you know. And so, like, I think that for me, God is a black woman, and so that is my whole identity. I truly do see God in every, like, black woman that I know. From the hood rats who got a nice little hood rat accent to the nice educated black women that I know, formally educated, to the, like, foreign black women. All of us, like, I see God in every single one of them. The ones who don't talk, who shy, who you gotta be like, girl, what you saying? You know, all of them got God in them, and it's amazing.
Being a black woman is nostalgic. It rocks. Black girls been magic. Like, being a black girl is, if I had to talk to the man upstairs and he asked me what I wanted to be, I'm definitely gonna check, you know, being a black woman.
I feel like it has shaped my life in a great way. It's not a bad thing. I love being a black woman. I walk very proudly with it. Girl, I be saying I'm an African woman. That's what I am. I ain't got nothing else in me, African. But basically, it has shaped my identity, and I enjoy every moment of it. I think that black women have their own language. We code switch. We walk a certain way. We talk a certain way. We move a certain way.
We are so many things, and I think that's the part that I love. So my black woman can be different from another black woman, but we are still black women, and I can still love on another black woman if we don't have the same story.
So like I seen this quote on like Instagram or Twitter like a few years ago, and it was like right now being a black girl or being a black woman is like being a part of this ultra lit, super exclusive club. Like, you know, like we lit. Like, I feel like black women are reclaiming. We always had to fight. We always had to struggle for a title, but we reclaiming it and making it work for us. Like, they really hate us because they ain't us. Like, black lives really matter, and black girls are really magic.
Oh my God, this is so hard. I feel like I'm gonna cry. I don't even know why.
Black women are resilient, they are creative, and they are transcendent.
Nurturers, fighters, and healers. Strong, unique, and unapologetic.
Independent, queen, and royal.
Never back down.
Powerful, resilient, magnificent.
Important, radiant, and visible.
Resilient, God, funny.
Beauty, bold, and magic.
Beautiful, resilient, and waymakers. Courageous, strong, and magical.
Resilient, unstoppable. And then the last term that I would use is beautiful.
Beautiful. Black women are underrated, and black women are not finished, even though that's 2 words.